It's now time for Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. It began as a podcast, went live on the net, and transformed into a full-blown empire. It's the only daily boxing talk show on the planet, hosted by the only guy with the balls to do it. Many have stepped into the ring. Many have tried to take the belt. And one by one, they've fallen. Another victim of the undisputed heavyweight champion of boxing talk radio. Talkin' Boxing with Billy C is on now.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart.
Coming to you live from the Billy C studios in Lake George, New York. I'm Bill Caliger, and it's time for the Billy C Show. Good morning, good day, good evening. It's my radio voice. Hope you're doing all right today. Got a busy show scheduled for you today, or maybe not. I don't know, man. There's not much going on in the sport of boxing, but don't worry about it. We'll talk about some stuff. Today's show, she's being brought to you in a part by Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and Italian Restaurant located on beautiful St. Simons Island in Georgia. Check out the website, www.salsneighborhoodpizzeria.com, or give my man a call, 912-268-2328, 912-268-2328. Find out why I go all the way to St. Simons to get a authentic Italian meal. Today's show is also being brought to us in part by the Turning Stone Resort and Casino in Verona. My Verona. Na-na-na-na. All right, that was different. In Verona, New York. And their next boxing event, which is taking place October 21st. That's right, October 21st. It's an HBO event. Jezreel Corrales and Demetrius Andrade are the two main events, main and co-main, I should say, respectively. And I want you there. You know why? Because I'm going to be ringside. That's right. Come on over. We'll be talking boxing, hanging out at the Turning Stone. It's a beautiful facility, and it's a great card. So get yourself some tickets right now. Just go to our website, BillyCBoxing.com, and click on the fight poster that says Turning Stone. It's on the right-hand side. Can't miss it. Get yourself some tickets. Demand a Billy C discount. And make sure you drop me an email, Billy@TalkinBoxing, TalkinBoxing.com. Tell me where you're going to be sitting, and I'll come over. You know, maybe we'll have a scotch or two, you know. Yeah, you never know. Right? You know, that's what I drink, in case you need to know. And finally, today's show is being brought to us in part by my book. Tom Molyneux from Bondage to Betters Man to Plane is available right now where all good books are sold. You can get a copy right now where you're watching or listening to the show. All you got to do is go to BarnesandNoble.com or Amazon.com. Find out why I'm so adamant about getting Tom Molyneux's story out there. This was a guy that was ripped off during his life, and he's still being ripped off today, all because of the color of his skin. Get yourself a copy now. Whoa, wait. You say you want a signed copy? Don't worry about it. Visit our website. Click on the book. Can't miss it. Follow the directions. And wait, there's more. Because of you act now, because of my own blunder, because of my mental lapse, and me ordering 2 boxes instead of 1 of books last order, if you drop me an email, Billy@TalkinBoxing, TalkinBoxing.com, and want a book, I'll send you a signed copy anywhere in the United States for $20. You know, help me out because I don't need to build a fort with my books. I mean, I like the book, but I didn't need to get that many. You know what I mean? So, anyway, get yourself a copy. All right, coming up on the show, we got some discussion. You know, today's, Amir Khan is coming back. You know, there's a lot of talk about him fighting domestically in England, facing Kell Brook. But all of a sudden now they're talking about, Amir Khan says, well, I know everybody wants to see it. We're both coming off losses. So maybe we'll have it sometime next year. Are you kidding me? That fight should take place now. I mean, we're not talking about 2 fighters that need to marinate a fight. There's been some, there's been some negativity thrown each other's way for a long time, especially over in England between these two guys. And there's no need to marinate. This is a fight that will sell. I think they should have it now. But joining me, we'll get his thoughts, is my man Sal Rocky Senicola. What's up, Sal?
Good morning, Billy C. How are you today, buddy?
Not too bad, brother. Not too bad. Amir Khan, we were talking about him last week.
Yeah.
And, they're talking about a grudge match between him and Kell Brook. And, yeah, they're both coming off losses. As you know, Kell Brook got knocked out by Triple G in his last fight. And Amir Khan got knocked out by Canelo in his last fight. Kell Brook, who did he win?
Had another fight. He broke 2 orbital bones.
That's right. Who was the other?
He's talk about an eye socket problem. I think one more whack and it's going to do it.
It was the other eye. The other eye. The other socket.
He's got 2 eye sockets crushed.
Now I'm forgetting who did he fight that he lost to again? Was it not Canelo? I can't think right now off the top of my head. I'm drawing a blank. That's happening lately to me. I'm starting.
It wasn't. Oh gosh, I know Coach is going to say something in the chat room if he's here. We'll see, but it should. Is that tip of my tongue? Not Curtis Stevens.
No. Anyway, Amir Khan. His last fight was clearly Canelo Alvarez. Got knocked out cold, and I think that the fight doesn't need any type of marination. What are you laughing at? What they're saying about you in the chat room?
Yeah, Willie just made a crack. I'm cracking up over it. I don't have my glasses on, but I could make the shapes of the letters out just perfect.
Hey, forget Willie. Willie's getting too much airtime. My man Coach saved our asses. Errol Spence.
Errol Spence. I knew it was like that. Yes, It wasn't Curtis Stevens. I knew it had a couple syllables in her name.
Yeah,
It wasn't Curtis Stevens. It was Errol Spence. Errol has 2 syllables in his first name, and Stevens has 2 syllables in his last name.
Yeah, that really, and Rice Krispies does snap, crackle, pop too, so that's about as relevant as that is. But my point is, my point is that Amir Khan and Kell Brook, I don't think they need to marinate that. Amir Khan was quoted as saying that fight won't happen until 2018, the earliest. He says he feels that both fighters should fight a couple of fights before they fight each other. I just think that although sometimes that may be a smart business move, but I don't know about you, Sal, but I think both Amir Khan and Kell Brook are kind of on the downswing of their careers. I mean, it's not that they're old per se, but they've both been in some pretty significant fights, significant wars, if you will. And I think it's kind of BS. Now, both, especially Amir Khan, demand big bucks. I'm just not a believer, or I don't like to see when a big name fighter gets big bucks to fight a cream puff, a cupcake, if you will, whatever you want to call it, a pizza pie, whatever you want to throw down your throat. I mean, they got to fight somebody. I don't know. I think that fight's better off being made now than later. What do you think?
Well, I think so too. And here's the thing, though, Bill. I really believe they are already over the peak of their career, and as you suggested, they may be on the downslope. And it's not saying they cannot be propelled back up into the limelight, into the world-class arena. They are world-class, what I'm saying. I mean, into top contention for a title shot. They probably will get that opportunity if they continue to fight and win. However, can they deliver during that title fight? We will see. I'm very concerned about Kell Brook. I mean, he's had 2 orbital sockets cracked underneath the pressure of heavy hands. And, that's fragile bone tissue there. And who knows if that's going to happen again. And all it'll take is a good overhand right or a hook to the head or the eye. And, it might crack, and he's going to say, oh, boy, I feel that pain. Because he was smart enough to realize what that pain was about the first time, the second time. And, there most likely will be a third time. I don't know how strong that socket could heal. So I think his days are very numbered in the fight game. And Amir Khan, I think he's been around long enough, and he's had some great fights, great wars. He's a good fighter. I think on paper, unless he hurts Kell Brook, I think Kell Brook could probably outbox him and land some heavy blows. And I think Kell Brook, if he doesn't have any orbital issues, would probably win that fight.
You know, it's funny. First of all, Kell Brook had both orbital bones.
I'm saying.
You know, so looking on the bright side, at least he can't get a third, you know, unless he's got an eye on the top of his forehead that we didn't see. But, you know, it's an interesting matchup.
It is.
When you look at the skill set of both. Amir Khan has been, you know, I mean, always he's been known for his hand speed and boxing ability and his punching power. I mean, the guy definitely has some pop, but he's also been coming up in weight. Kell Brook, who shocked the hell out of me by going up to middleweight and then back down to welter, which I didn't think he was going to be able to do physically. He's clearly the bigger guy. Amir Khan may be able to outbox him, but Kell Brook is a bigger guy. But I think that the boxing ability of Amir Khan is the equalizer. I don't know. You know, Amir Khan, the knock on him has been a suspect chin, lack of defense. You know, I don't know. I think it's a 50-50 fight, to be honest with you, Sal. I think that Kell Brook, although he's bigger and presumably stronger, he's got a questionable defense himself. And I think the hand speed of Amir Khan could give him some problems. I don't know. I really like the matchup, and I believe it should be sooner than later.
Oh, I think it should be sooner or later. And I think they're at the point of their career, Bill, that they can't afford to face a nobody or somebody else and lose. And then this fight will have less significance than what it does today. And either fighter has an opportunity to fight somebody else, and they can lose or not look as good. And then putting this matchup together later before sooner could be in jeopardy. So I'd rather see them get back in the ring together as soon as possible.
Yeah, no, I agree. The marination process. I mean, isn't that just another fancy way of fleecing the boxing fan? I mean, is there any other sport that takes advantage of its bread and butter fans the way the sport of boxing does?
No. And that's what's so ironic about the sport of boxing. As great as the sport of boxing is, as timeless as the sport of boxing is, you have today's world of boxing where, they use this term marinate until they feel it's ready to pop. And, I think that's a mistake on some issues, and I think people are salivating for a fight when they start talking about it. And if it's not made then, by the time it is made, whether it's a Pacquiao Mayweather or whether it's a Canelo Triple G, it probably would have been better sooner. But it is what it is, and that's the game of boxing. But I think Amir Khan, no matter what happens in his future, I think he's got a great career in the world of politics.
Listen, people say, "Oh, you got to have a fight marinate." Yeah, it takes time. The reason why I disagree with that, and I've said this before on the show, is that when there's a fight and when the public's clamoring for it, you do it because after the fight, there's another fight that's going to pop up that the public's going to clamor for. You see, this is how the powers that be have changed the sport of boxing so that we don't get the big fights. And before you know it, a guy's career is over. The truth of the matter is that people are always complaining about the sport of boxing not being where it was and everything else. If we had these guys actually grow the hairs and step in the ring when the fight is being discussed and fight, and then on the other side, on the flip side of the coin, make sure that promoters and networks and powers that be don't look down on a fighter if he's got a loss, then I think we would see more and more fights. There's no reason to marinate. And the whole point is that when a fighter is on his way up, when a fighter is being built up and learning the game, learning, fine-tuning his game, so to speak, that's when, you fight all the different kinds of fights. Once you get to a point where you're challenging for a world title or even had a world title like both of these guys had, Amir Khan and Kell Brook, both former world champions, there's no more, they're not learning. They may learn,
no.
They may brush up on some of their, abilities, but they're not going to go and learn new tricks. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it doesn't make sense when you're that far. I mean, both of these guys are not going to be hanging around for, an indefinite amount of time. They're looking at, a fight or two, make some coin, and get out, And the truth of the matter is the only way that they're going to make coin legitimately, is to fight big names. And they're both big names. And these guys could make some big bucks in England fighting each other. To have it marinate and let the public, sit through mismatches and stuff, I think that works. I think that's counterproductive, Sal. As a matter of fact, it turns me off when I see a guy, and I'm critical of Deontay Wilder. He's a perfect example here in the States. A guy that beats up somebody that he's supposed to beat up, then pounds his chest and says how great he is. I don't want to see Amir Khan or Kell Brook do that. Yes, they're both coming off of losses, devastating knockout losses to be exact. But the truth is they're both former world champions. There's no marination process. If the people want to see Kell Brook and Amir Khan and they're willing to pay for it and they're willing to pay for it now, why wait? I think that fight is better suited now than later.
No, you make a good point, Bill. And like I said, why jeopardize another loss? I think they're both at a volatile time in their careers. I think they're both capable. I think they're both still able to get back on the saddle and do what they have to do to be in top contention or regain a title shot. And, why take a chance? If we want to see the two of these guys fight, and I think it'll be a great fight. I think it's a great matchup. I think they each have unique styles that can counter and that can offset either one. And having a little chess game out there and a little bit of a war in a phone booth, they both show and display that they have the ability and the wherewithal. And yes, and when it comes to training guys like this, what a good trainer does, they'll tighten up their game. They'll look at them. They'll keep them on track. They'll tighten up their game, just their defense, their offense. To make some suggestions, but they're not going to create a whole new fighter and style at this point. Very rarely does that happen with success. Sometimes it does. It's a shock. It's a surprise. But the element of surprise, But the bottom line is, they'll both be able to get in the ring, hopefully sooner than later, and we'll see what happens. I like the fight, though.
Look at it from a financial point.
Yes.
If the fighters are saying, "Hey, listen, why don't we marinate this? Why don't we start talking smack about each other and get the fans all hot and bothered and dime and chomping for this fight? We'll fight a couple of fights beforehand." Then that defeats the whole thing. If you go back and look at the success of guys who made a lot of money, they make a lot of money in the least amount of fights. In other words, if you can make X amount of money, let's just say you make $5 million for one fight, but to marinate it, and let's say you can make an extra 2, so instead of making 5, you can make 7, but in the meantime, you got to fight 2 other fights that you're not going to get much more money. And even if you add, let's say you fight 2 fights, and over those 2 fights you make $3 million, and then instead of fighting now for 5, you can fight a year from now for 7. So let's add it all up, make it easy, and now you're looking at $10 million when it's over. But for $10 million, you're fighting 3 fights. Anything can happen in those 3 fights. Just like I said, Amir Khan's coming off a devastating knockout loss to Canelo. Kell Brook, back-to-back knockout losses, one breaking one orbital bone, and Triple G breaking the other orbital bone against Errol Spence Jr. These are guys that even in a layup cupcake fight, they're running a risk of sustaining another injury or even worse, getting hurt. And then really, are they making the right decision money-wise? I think it's smarter to fight one fight, get the $5 million, and just based on my figures that I threw out there, take the $5 million for one fight and then see what happens after that. I mean, I think that makes the most financial sense, and I think it's smarter, to assume that you're going to float around. And by the way, along the way, if you're fighting cupcakes and pounding your chest saying you're the best, people are going to lose interest. I mean, Shannon Briggs is a good example of that. Nutcase, juiced up MFer. What does he do? He fights these guys that are, shouldn't even be in a ring. They shouldn't even be ringside watching, let alone inside the ring. And that gets them a ranking. I don't know, man. It's called smokescreen. It's called bamboozling. And when you use those words, it always ends up being in the sport of boxing, Sal.
Well, it does, and we've seen it. And, like I said, Bill, these are two guys. They're veterans. They're either at the peak or over on the other side of their careers. And I'll tell you what, I'm very concerned about Kell Brook. I don't know how many more fights he has in him because he's got some fragile bones in his head and face, and we don't know how more vulnerable they have become with being cracked in the last two fights. So, anything could happen. I wouldn't take a chance. I would say, hey, look at Amir Khan. We got to sign this contract. Let's get back in the ring now. Because as you said, Bill, you don't know what's going to happen in the fight game tomorrow. It's guaranteed today. You sign a contract, you get in the ring. You got 8 weeks. Get ready, get your head on, and train, and let's fight. You can't look at next year or the year after or at 10 months down the road. You got to try and do it now. Anything could happen to these guys. Hey, sparring, ankle twist, this, that, and everything else. Who knows? Broken legs, shin splints. I mean, when you get older, the body becomes a little more fragile. And, these guys, not that they're old, it's just the fact that, they've had some big ring wars. So I think they should get the iron while it's hot and do it.
I want to just emphasize the fact that, we're not talking about two fighters that need to build their reputations up. They don't need to build anything up. They're already established. And to suggest, a fighter's got to get a win before they're in a big fight, I think that's BS too, because, in this case, both fighters are names, especially in England, but even here in the States, both fighters have fought here in the States. And the truth of the matter is that they don't need anything to build up. The fight has its own built-in interest level, and I think that if it was announced that they were going to fight in December, let's say, just for argument's sake, I don't think anybody would bring up the fact that they're both coming off losses, and in Kell Brook's case, 2 losses. I don't think it makes a difference, because when you look at Kell Brook's losses, the first one, his first loss came against a guy that he moved up in weight to fight, a guy that everyone else is afraid to fight in Triple G. Then his next loss, he fights a guy no one in the welterweight division wants to fight, in Errol Spence. I mean, even the so-called top guy in Keith Thurman, he doesn't want to fight him. The retired Floyd Mayweather, he never mentioned the kid's name because he knew damn well that
Errol will.
No, Errol Spence will knock the crap out of Floyd.
Errol Spence is a world beater. I love Errol.
This version of Floyd I'm talking about. He would beat this version of Floyd. Maybe if you could go back in a time machine, maybe it's a different story. But, listen, Errol Spence Jr. is a guy that's being avoided in the welterweight division. And we say this all the time. You got to have the right dance partner. If you don't have fighters willing to fight you, how do you establish any kind of legacy? You got to have the willing dance partners. And all of the crap with the networks and the management and the promotional teams that want to protect the O and feel they can't sell it, or the promoter that has to resurrect an old fighter to bring him back, and rather than promote and build up a young fighter. This is all bamboozling the fan. They're giving us a product that's not living up to the billing. No other sport can get away with that. Football couldn't, baseball couldn't, hockey, basketball, nothing. And yes, they're all team sports and boxing's not. But the truth of the matter is they could never, promise something that never took place. And boxing seems to think that it can get away with that, and it has for some time.
Well, it's the sport that could always push the envelope, and sometimes they push it over the table, sometimes they just keep it on the edge. That's what it is. You live on the edge. And, hey, I'll tell you what, I think They don't need a fight. They don't need an easy win to get back in the ring with each other. I have a perfect tag for this fight, perfect name. All they need to do is call this fight Redemption Time. Redemption. That's it. They both have losses. Let's go. One guy's going to come out with a winner.
And you know what? That's the most important fact, that one of the guys, you see in my train of thought, and if I'm a manager for either of the two fighters, I say, listen, take this fight now, because you win the fight, you're going to get another big payday in another big name. You lose the fight, you hang them up. You call it as your swan song. End of story. This could be Amir Khan versus Kell Brook. Could be the winner moves forward, the loser goes in a broadcast booth. Because like we said yesterday, we certainly need some new broadcasters. So, hey, listen, I'm going to take a short break. When I come back, I got some news that Sal's going to like to hear. We'll be back in 2.
Billy C will be right back.
Broken air conditioning, $4,400. Failing refrigerator, $2,500. Don't let outrageous repair and replacement like these bust your budget. Get the First American Home Warranty Plan. And when a covered appliance system breaks, we'll repair it or replace it for you.
At a high-end, go kaput. They put it in a brand new dishwasher.
Plans that cover air conditioning, most appliances, plus heating, plumbing, electrical systems. Plans start as low as $25. Why let a major appliance or system break down, bust your budget, or go through the hassle of finding these people? Last year alone, we saved our customers over $120 million. Don't wait until something breaks and you're a huge bill.
You save a lot of money. It's absolutely worth it.
If you First American Warranty, get it.
Call 1-800-946-6234 for your free no-obligation quote.
Stop living with hair loss, that is. Losing your hair is fun and no one wants to be bald, but there is hope.
Getting my hair, best thing that ever happened to me.
I'm happy with the way I look now. I'm very excited about my hair.
I feel beautiful.
I love my hair.
Hair Club offers all proven hair loss solutions backed by our commitment to satisfaction guarantee. If you're not 100% satisfied with the solution you choose, we'll apply the purchase price to another proven hair loss solution or transplant more hair at no charge.
It was the best thing I've ever done.
It looks good on me.
Call in 5 minutes for sure at no obligation. It will tell you everything you need to know about your hair loss problem, and it's free if you now.
What I had even imagined.
I at least look, I would say, 5 years younger.
52, and I look better now than I did when I was in my 40s.
I feel great.
And that's not all. The first 100 people who call will also receive $250 off any hair loss solution from Hair Club. Call now.
This is important news for women using birth control medications and devices. If you or a loved one have been diagnosed with a pseudotumor after using one of these birth control drugs or devices, you may be eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. Contact the law firm of Davis & Crump right now if you or a loved one have used one of these birth control medications or devices and were diagnosed with a pseudotumor to see if you are eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. Call now. Operators are standing by.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace? Call Back Brace America at 1-800-220-8300.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts! Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you!
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning. Now back to Billy C. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're listening and watching the Billy C. Show. Glad you could be with us. Hey, normally we just kind of talk about what goes on in the chat room on the show. But we have been playing around with simulcast, and although it's not the real full video version of this show, we do simulcast up in Facebook. It's a slight delay, and a lot of times it's choppy, and it's a terrible camera that we're forced to use. But my man John in there is he wants me to fight. He wants to see me back in the ring. He wants to know how much it would cost if I would do it for charity or anything like that, Sal. And I say this, I would fight Ronaldo. I'd fight Mario Ronaldo. I'd do it for probably 10, 15 million. I mean, I don't know. I think it would be a good fight. I'd love to kick his ass.
I think I'd love to be your trainer. Or you and I could do an exhibition, Bill.
I tell you, Mario Ronaldo, I'd love to kick his ass. I can't stand the guy, and I would love to. And I don't even know him. I've never met him personally or anything like that. But he's so terrible. I'd love to just punch him right in his face.
Well, I'll tell you, we might be able to arrange that. It might be a good exhibition, a little fundraiser. The Battle of the Mouths.
Yeah, exactly. The Battle of the Mouths. Well, listen, I got some news for you. In Major League Baseball action last night.
Yes.
First and foremost, we had the divisional series going on both in the National League and the American League. And in the National League, the first game that was played yesterday, because of a rainout situation the day before, the Nationals shut out the Cubbies 5-0. Strasburg gets the win there. Arrieta gets the loss. The significance of this game is that the Nationals have forced a fifth game to decide who moves on to the championship series in the National League to face the Dodgers, who are well rested. But over in the American League, talk about forcing a fifth game. The New York Yankees, who I must go on record as saying that I can't stand, and we all know, based on your dancing and cheering over there, which now the camera's on you, they have come back to beat a very good record-breaking team in the Cleveland Indians to force a Game 5 that took place last night. And behind Robertson and Chapman getting a save, the Yankees pulled the impossible by beating the Indians in a 5-game series last night, 5-2. They now are scheduled to face the Astros in the American League Championship Series. So all I could say is congratulations, Sal, and to all the Yankees. I'm a disgruntled Met fan. I hate the Yankees. However, I do like Aaron Judge. And Chapman did get his World Series ring with the Cubbies last year. But hey, we'll see what happens now. The Yankees have to beat the Astros. If they find themselves beating the Astros, they're going to go to the World Series. What do you think? Can they do it?
Let me tell you something. They did this a couple of years ago. They came out of nowhere, I think, in a game that they had, the ability to put it all together and to, it's like some fighters fight the level of who they fight. And when the Yankees had one of the opportunities to get into the series, they just ran it and they took it and they played better ball, obviously, than they did the whole season. They had a wild card run. I think they won that game, and then they went on to win the World Series without looking back. Coach is going to correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, let me tell you, the Yankees were down 2-0 in this series with Cleveland. Down 2-0, coming off their wild card victory last week. And it looked like Cleveland, all they had to do was win one game. They came to Yankee Stadium. We know what happens there. And the fans got behind them, supported them. The Yankees won the 2 games, forcing a Game 5. They had a travel day, and they played last night. And let me tell you, the Yankees were off to a good start, 1-0, then 3-0. And then later in the game, the Cleveland Indians came back tough. It was a 3-2 game going into the last few innings. But then the Yankees blew away the game when an opportunity came. I think it was the top of the 9th. And, boy, I was so happy to see that. What a great game.
Yeah. I was so happy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was so happy I threw up all night. CC Sabathia.
Hey, Billy, come on. You know what, Bill? If the Yankees were not in it and the Mets were playing, I'd be rooting for the Mets just because it's I don't know why, but I think I would.
Yeah, well, you're a better man than me. I'm from Long Island originally, and I got news for you. I root for the Jets. I root for the Mets. I root for the Nets. I root for the Islanders. Under no circumstance will I ever root for the Yankees, the Giants, the Rangers, or the Knicks. So, as a matter of fact, as a matter of fact, there's no one happier than I that the Giants, the New York Football Giants, are now 0-5. I hope they go a full 0-16. So anyway, moving back to boxing, we talked about the Miguel Cotto and Saddam Ali fight yesterday on the show, and I'm not thrilled with the fight. I mean, I knew Cotto wasn't going to pick a real fight for his Bon Voyage fight. And my thinking is, why not just retire as a champ? He won the title. He was given a shot at that title, which is a whole nother travesty, to be honest with you. But if he was going to fight a substantial foe and go out on his shield, whatever, that's much different than picking Saddam Ali. Saddam Ali was a fighter who never fought in the junior middleweight division, did fight over 147 twice in his whole career. But giving credit where credit's due, it's not like Miguel Cotto is a monster at 154 either. But still, I'm not crazy about the fight. Although I do say that Saddam Ali does have some boxing ability, and Cotto is aged, and like Dak said on the show yesterday, he's been in wars. All of his fights are rough and tumble type fights. So. You get a pass. He is going to be on HBO. It's his 24th appearance on HBO. Will be his 10th. Him being a showcase main event at Madison Square Garden. So I mean, there are some things he's doing. So good, more power to him. He's 41-5 with 33 knockouts. Saddam Ali has only been beaten once. He's 25-1 with 14 knockouts. As I said yesterday, his one loss came when he challenged for a world title. I look at his resume and see, his last handful of fights against good opposition. The rest of them are all cherry-picked cupcakes, really. But yesterday it was made official. The cheapest seat you can get at Madison Square Garden on October 17th is $50, and ringside seats are $500. Saddam Ali said, "I'm thrilled to be given this opportunity to fight a legend at Madison Square Garden in front of all my fans. On HBO. My time is now. God willing, I will leave the Garden with the championship belt." I read a lot into comments by fighters sometimes, Sal. And the one thing I can read between the lines with Saddam Ali, he's happy to be there type of a fight. He's happy to get the opportunity. He's happy to be on HBO. I would like much more to hear more from a fighter like this. The confidence, I'm there to win. I'm thankful for getting the opportunity, but Cotto picked the wrong guy. Stuff like that. It almost seems like he's already reserved the fact that he doesn't have a chance to win. God willing, his time is now. Make the time. God puts you in positions. He doesn't hold your hand through the whole thing. He puts you in a position, then you're supposed to do what you got to do. I would have liked to have seen a little more positivity from his comment. What's your thoughts?
I'm going to give you my thoughts. I'm going to share with you and everybody else what may be going through his heart and his mind right now. Yes, he is grateful to get this opportunity. Yes, he is humbled by the chance to see himself come out of the ring victorious. And yes, he wants to go in with this element of surprise on his side. This guy is going to be in the gym training like an animal. He's in his heart of hearts. He's saying he could do this. He just doesn't want to let it be known right now. And he's going to go out there. He's going to give Miguel Cotto a fight. He's glad to be in this opportunity. And believe me, this is what's going through his mind. And he says, I'm going to shock everybody. I'm going to surprise everybody because I got something that Miguel's not going to be ready for. And that's what's going on in his heart. He doesn't have to say it. But right now, he knows. This guy knows. Come on, he's been around. He knows this is his one-shot opportunity. He's got to look good. He's got to display great skill. And he's got the opportunity, yes, to beat a legend on what is being set up as his farewell, fanfare, goodbye fight. And so I believe that Ali definitely, in his heart of hearts, says, wait till you see what I pull this night. I'm going out there and I'm going to win. I know that's what he's feeling.
Well, if you know that, your crystal ball must have new batteries in it, because it sounds to me like he's just happy to be there. And the truth of the matter is that he's a young fighter. I mean, hold that thought. We got to take a break. These damn television commercial breaks, they drive me nuts sometimes. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. We'll be back in 2.
Billy C will be right back.
If you're over the age of 50 and considering buying an annuity in the next 60 days, I have some important news for you. Don't buy an annuity until you understand the pros and cons of annuities. A free book to help you maximize your retirement income from television host and 3-time author Josh Melberg has been released. This book reveals little-known truths about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms. Grab a pen right now, because we are about to offer you this free book that unlocks the 5 little-known secrets we believe baby boomers and seniors should know before buying an annuity. Call 800-493-9652 now, and you'll receive a free copy of Josh Melberg's book, Next Gen Annuity Strategies Revealed. As a bonus, we'll also send you the #1 mistakes retirees are making with their investments today, and a free DVD on how you can get up to 33% more income in retirement. Call 800-493-9652 to have your free information kit rushed to your door. Again, that's 800-493-9652.
This is important news for people who had a hip replacement and then had to have additional surgery as the result of a faulty hip implant, or were diagnosed with high levels of metal in the blood, known as metallosis. You may have a right to a cash award and medical expenses. If you have been diagnosed with high levels of metal in your blood or have required more surgery because of hip implant failure, call the law offices of Davis & Crump right now. Our first consultation is free, and we don't get paid unless you get paid. Call now. Operators are standing by.
Broken air conditioning, $4,400. Failing refrigerator, $2,500. Don't let outrageous repair and replacement bills like these bust your budget. Get the First American Home Warranty Plan. And when a covered appliance or system breaks, we'll repair it or replace it for you.
We had a high-end dishwasher go kaput. They put it in a brand new dishwasher.
We have plans that cover air conditioning, most appliances, plus heating, plumbing, electrical systems, and much more. Plans start as low as $25 a month. Why let a major appliance or system breakdown bust your budget or go through the hassle of finding trustworthy service people? Last year alone, we saved our customers over $120 million. Don't wait until something breaks and you're stuck with a huge bill.
You save a lot of money. It's absolutely worth it.
If you don't have First American Warranty, get it.
Call 1-800-946-6234 for your free no-obligation quote.
Snacking has never been this exciting. At Graze.com, we combine wholesome ingredients with the flavors we all love to create over 100 exciting snacks, like these. We'd love to send you a Graze sampler box for free. Just go to Graze.com, enter the code ENJOY36, and we'll mail your free box to your home or office. Join thousands of Grazers already in love with our exciting snacks. So come to Graze.com for your first box free.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts! Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning. Now back to Billy C. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're watching and listening to the Billy C. Show. Glad you could be with us today. And speaking of being with us, how about being with me? Come on over to the Turning Stone Resort and Casino in Verona. That should be some hot redhead's name, Sal, you know. Hey, who you going out with tonight? I'm going out with Verona, you know. Or it's like that song.
I had a crush on a girl when I was younger in Verona, New Jersey, by Wayne.
Wait a minute, didn't they have a song? My Verona.
My Verona. Or Sharona.
That's
Sharona?
Oh, that's
Verona?
right. You're right. But anyway.
Good.
October 21st, join me at the Turning Stone Resort and Casino. I'm going to be ringside for HBO's next boxing event. So get yourself some tickets. Visit our website, www.billycboxing.com. Click on the Turning Stone banner. But, hey, listen, if you're watching us on the Facebook stream or whatever we're going to call it, we have it going over there too. Yeah. Simulcast. That's the word I was looking for. Don't forget, man, the same version that goes up on TV is up on YouTube right now. We stream on YouTube, or you can go to our website, BillyCBoxing.com, and watch it. Our YouTube channel, youtube.com/talkin, TALKIN, boxing, BOXING. Check us out. I think you'll like that version a lot better. Multiple camera feeds, etc., etc. It's much clearer. It's a better shot. And speaking of television, Sal, I got some news that you don't even know about.
No, I don't know. You keep me in the dark like one of those.
I'm not talking about.
Put the blanket over my eyes.
I'm not talking about all the news. I'm talking because I know you don't know much about that either. But I'm talking about some news about our project that we worked on, that we just did recently, where we showed our at our last Billy C get together down at the beautiful Sea Palms Resort and Casino. I mean.
No casino.
And no casino.
You know, that's an angle. We could maybe start a casino there.
I guess it slipped that you always have those craps games going in the back of your restaurant. But anyway.
Yeah, Bill, easy.
Anyway. Sea Palms Resort in St. Simon's, on St. Simon's Island. We showed all of the people that were at our Billy C get-together a sneak preview of a new series that Sal and I worked on called Billy C's Boxing Revisited. And basically what it is in a nutshell is we've taken, thanks to Steve Lott and the Las Vegas Boxing Hall of Fame, or it's just the Boxing Hall of Fame Incorporated, I should say, out of Las Vegas, gave us the rights, bartered us the rights for rebroadcasting some classic fights. And we did a few. And we created some pilots, and we gave our people that showed up to the Billy C event a sneak preview of actually one of my favorites. It's become my favorite fight. I mean,
yes.
Benny Kid Perrette against Gene Fulmer. I mean, we talked about it yesterday.
Nothing short of a war.
Oh, that's an understatement. I mean, up to that fight, Sal, I had said that the best 3 rounds of boxing I ever saw was Hagler-Hearns. Until I realized, I had no idea that there was actually a fight that was 10 rounds of Hagler-Hearns, and that's what we got with Fulmer, Benny Kid Perrette. But anyway, the news that you're on the edge of your seat, that you're holding your ace about the truth of the matter. No, take a breath, Sal. You're turning red. You're turning purple. The truth of the matter is, we will be airing on several networks, Fight TV being one of them, of course, and Holyfield Television, another, of course. But AMG TV, which is a pretty big network, not only on terrestrial television, but also cable networks and satellite dish networks, as well as, I believe, Roku, Hulu, and they have their own streaming availability too. AMG TV, punch it up. I will get you guys the exact dates. But Sal, Rocky, Santa Cola, they are showing not 1, not 2, but all 3 of the pilots over the next couple of months. They're going to be showcasing them, I think, 3 or 4 times each. And I'm really excited about that. As soon as we get the actual dates and times, and which channels, because they have multiple channel and multiple platforms, I will put a link up on the website, or Jeremy C. will put a link up on the website where you can watch these. So we're real excited about that. And hopefully people will like it, Sal. You know why?
Why?
Because I want to do one every month. I'm going to come down. I'm going to move in with you, man. I got to rearrange that set a little bit. I'm assuming those stairs lead to my room up there, right?
You know what, Bill? It's funny you should say that. Yes, I have 3 bedrooms up there, and one of them has your name on it.
There you go. There you go. But hopefully I'm sharing it with some hot redhead or blonde or brunette. I'm not picky, but you know.
Right now there's a Bowflex in there in my office. But
what are you trying to say? What are you trying to say? That I'm a fat bastard? Is that what you're trying to say? I need to work the Bowflex? Hey, Bill, come on over. I got a room for you, and I got your Bowflex all set up in there, you fat bastard. Is that what you're trying to say to me? Come on, Sal. I thought we were buds, man.
Hey, buddy, let me tell you something. Absolutely. I'll even give you my room. I'll sleep on the couch down here.
There you go. Now you're talking. That's what good friends supposed to do. But anyway, I'm excited about that. But back to Miguel Cotto and Saddam Ali. Miguel Cotto, after the official announcement, officially announcing the fight, even though we already talked about it, Miguel Cotto says, I'm very excited to be back in the ring for my final fight at Madison Square Garden. I've worked really hard my entire career to be at this level. I am fully concentrated on getting together with Freddie Roach so we can work hard and have a great victory on December 2nd. I don't have any doubt in my mind. Let me say this. I'm not discrediting Saddam Ali at all because, you know, especially when a fighter like Miguel Cotto has been in the wars that he has been in Sal, you know that he could age very quickly, overnight, if you will. And
as good as your last fight.
Right, and Saddam Ali basically has the tools. I mean, he does have a significant reach advantage and height advantage over Cotto. So it's certainly not a layup per se, but I think Miguel Cotto and his team, handpicked Saddam Ali for a reason. Listen, the top three divas in boxing, and two of them are actually, I guess we should sprinkle in four. And two of the four happen to be retired right now. Andre Ward, I think, is the biggest diva of all time. Miguel Cotto is number two. I think Canelo Alvarez moves up to the 3 spot. And Floyd Mayweather, I still put him as a diva. But the only diva, the issue with Floyd, and no, for any of you guys that know that Floyd's not my favorite fighter of all time, but if you think I'm softening up on him, forget about it. But the truth of the matter is this. I got to give Floyd credit because unlike the other three, and even though Canelo's a big draw, nobody has put asses and in seats and sold pay-per-views, time after time after time, as well as Floyd Mayweather. So, and because he always gets everything in his way, he's got to be a diva, but definitely not top 3. I say number 4. But, hey, we'll see what happens in the fight. Reading between the lines with Ali's comments, I think he's just happy to be there. And I don't think we're going to see the best Saddam Ali. I really don't. The best Saddam Ali might come after the Cotto fight, but he's going to be happy to be there. The only thing that might motivate him is the simple fact that he does live in New York, and I'm sure a lot of people will go there to watch him. And, sometimes when you're performing in front of family and friends, it elevates you up a little, doesn't it, Sal?
Bill, it certainly does. And that's what I'm saying. He's taken the humble, quiet, B-side approach to this. And here's what's going to happen. He's going to do his best. Right now, in his heart of hearts, he says, I got this one-shot opportunity. I'm in a ring with a legend. I could either crawl and look for a corner and fall down and die and get my ass kicked, excuse my French, or butt, or I can rise to the occasion, show everybody what I came here to do, and bring the best out of me, and I'm going to train for a victory. And, he could go all along with saying he's just grateful, he's just that, and then very close to the fight just saying, well, he picked the wrong opponent. I'm going to show him what I got. Yeah, I'll play a little head game. I mean, you got to do whatever you got. And Miguel Cotto's been there, done that. It's not going to phase him one bit. But, I mean, this guy, you should try to utilize an element of surprise anywhere he can. And, I think he can rise to the occasion. He's got some tools on him, but like I said, we never know. Any given night, Miguel Cotto's consistent. He's a tough warrior. He's been through wars, and this guy, we still don't know if everything's in the package that we assume is just face value. Maybe he's going to come out and say, hey, I'm going to rise to the occasion. I'm on another level now, and I'm going to show the world what I really can do. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, hopefully he does have the best day of his career. But this weekend we got some good fights on TV. It's a pretty packed weekend, to be honest with you, Sal. And
I like honesty.
Tomorrow we will open up the phone lines. So if you have a comment or a question or any kind of concern or some feelings on the fights that is scheduled this week, make sure you tune in tomorrow and give us a call. I'm going to open up the phone lines pretty much for the whole show tomorrow. So anytime we get a call, we'll just kick Sal to the curb because you guys, when you call in, you kind of, kick Sal to the curb. But that's okay. Sal's a big boy, He'll go up there
I
on
get
the
up, I wipe myself off, and I get up and I get back on that curb.
That's right.
I'm king of the curb.
That's right. And that's why I sent you that ladder, so you could climb up onto that curb, because you are a little short. I don't know if anybody... And in case anyone doesn't believe me, if you look over Sal's left shoulder, which is actually the right one on the screen, you can see the little step ladder I sent him. That's the one that he uses right over there. So you saw that, right? No, it's your other... It's your other left shoulder.
Right there.
It's your other left.
Right there.
That's the one.
I use that. I got a tall kitchen. I can't reach those cabinets.
I know.
Way
Weren't you playing handball against the curb the other day?
Bookcase. You think I can reach a bookcase? You want to see the bookcase?
No. I don't want to see the bookcase.
Forget about it.
I don't want to see the bookcase. All I know is that you were playing handball against the curb with that giant ant the other day. I don't know. But anyway, there was some...
You're right,
I was. I'm not taller than many people, but I am taller than Sal. I will say that. I am. But anyway, we got a couple of fights this weekend, and I wanted to just touch on a couple real quickly. Leo Santa Cruz is one of my favorite fighters.
Great fight.
He's only lost once, and he has a draw in his record as well. He's 33 wins with a loss and a draw. Like I said, 18 knockouts. The thing I love about Leo Santa Cruz is that, in a sense, he's a throwback fighter. And what I mean by that is this is a guy that comes to fight. He likes volume. He does it because he knows that he's got to let his hands go. He's there to perform. He's there to do his best. He's got a really close family relationship, what also fuels the fire. I love Leo Santa Cruz, and he's going to be headlining the show early Saturday night, 7:30 p.m. It starts over on Fox. And the co-main event is another good fight between Abner Mares and Andres Gutierrez. And then also Saturday, later in the evening on Showtime, you got Urslandi Lara against Terrell Joshua, Jermel Charlo against Erickson Lubin, and Jarrett Hurd against Austin Trout. But right now I want to take a look real quick at the Leo Santa Cruz and Chris Avelos fight. Leo Santa Cruz is currently the WBA's Super World Featherweight Champ. Not to be confused, Sal, with the WBA's regular World Featherweight Champion, because Leo Santa Cruz is the Super World Featherweight Champion. And don't be confused, it's not Super Featherweight, it's Super World Featherweight. So it's
because Super Featherweight's a weight class that could be also the reciprocal of that is the Junior Lightweight.
Well, it is. But this is what I'm saying. The WBA, well, it is very confusing because
there's another belt on the line, super belt.
Yeah, they call once you
become a world champion, you go for a super belt championship.
Yeah, and it actually they make it seem like the super champion is higher than the regular champion, but in the past they've had a super champion that they so-called elevate to that status. Have to wait in line to get a shot at the regular champion. So it's completely, here I was blaming.
Why don't they just come out with a universal championship belt? And maybe we'll get some alien invaders challenging.
Slow it down. Don't give anybody any ideas. We don't need another belt. We certainly don't. But Leo Santa Cruz is the WBA's world. I'm just going to call him the world featherweight champion. He's a former junior featherweight world champion, and he's a former bantamweight world champion. He's 29 years old. This guy has fought the best of the best. 2 fights against Carl Frampton. He lost. The first one, a close fight, a majority decision in Brooklyn. He went and fought him back in January of this year in a great fight, and another close decision. This time he won in Vegas. He's also got recent wins over Kiko Martinez, Abner Mares, Jose Catano, which was a comeback, get a W type fight. Jesus Ruiz, he fought and won. Christian Mahares, Cesar Cita, which is a big fight. Victor Terraz, Alexander Munoz. I mean, he has fought Eric Morale. I mean, this was a guy that, at one point people were commenting that he was, not fighting real fights. And when you look at his resume, you got to go, let's see, I'm looking at his resume. You got to go all the way back to 2011 when he fought Jorge Romero, who was 0-1. I mean, that really was the last layup fight that he had. I mean, Christian Mahares, maybe his record doesn't look impressive. Manuel Roman, maybe not. He's had a couple of losses, but these are all real fighters. I'm sorry. I think Leo Santa Cruz is a good fighter, and I think we may be witnessing in Leo Santa Cruz, Sal, a future Hall of Famer. I really believe that. This guy, I love his attitude especially, and I mean, he has said in many interviews that he fights for the fans. As a matter of fact, when he fights and doesn't get a knockout, he apologizes to the fans for not getting a knockout. I mean, this guy's a throwback, brother.
He is, and for all the reasons you mentioned, I'll tell you, I respect him and I appreciate his style of fighting, and he is a warrior, and so I always am looking to see what he's going to present to us, to all of the fans every time he's in the ring, and it's always an exciting fight. I'm very fond of this guy. I think he's great.
Yeah, I love him. He's stepping in the ring with Chris Avelos, and Chris Avelos, he's a former world title challenger. He titled for the junior featherweight belt. Obviously, he's gonna, in a sense, he's stepping up a little bit. He's actually younger than Leo Santa Cruz. He's 27 years old. He's got a record of 27-5, 20 knockouts, and of his 5 losses, he was stopped 3 times. His last 5 fights, he was actually 2 wins and 3 losses, 1 win by knockout, 1 win by decision, but all 3 losses by stoppage. As a matter of fact, those were the 3 stoppage losses of his 5 in his career. He was stopped by Carl Frampton, who had 2 really good fights with Leo Santa Cruz. He was stopped by Oscar Valdez, who's currently a world champion right now. And he was also stopped in April of last year against Mark Magsayo, who's an up-and-coming Filipino fighter who I really like. So he lost him. And now his last fight, he fought the tough Miguel Flores, who was only once beaten when he stepped in the ring with Avelos. And Avelos won that fight. As a matter of fact, the fight was stopped after 5 rounds. The corner said that he couldn't continue Flores. And that fight, Sal, actually is the one that got him a shot at Leo Santa Cruz. Leo Santa Cruz is rated number 1 by the computer, and the computer looks at Chris Avelos at number 31, which is, again, one of those fights where, you say to yourself, how does the sanctioning body sanction it? Well, the answer to that question is Chris Avelos is ranked in the top 15 of the WBA. How do I see this fight going? I see this fight going 100% Leo Santa Cruz's way, but you never know. What do you think?
I think you're right. I think Leo Santa Cruz is a proven horse to bet on, and I'll tell you, because he's a great fighter. And I didn't mean a horse like an animal. I meant just the analogy there. He's a great fighter, and he's got heart passion, and I think he's not going to disappoint his fans. And I think he will take care of Chris Avelos, but it'll be a good fight. But I think he will be the one coming out with his hand raised in the air.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, of course, I'm a big fan of Leo Santa Cruz. I'm just a little disappointed that, I mean, when you look at Leo Santa Cruz and you see him fighting Kiko Martinez and Carl Frampton and Abner Mares and Jesse Ruiz, And then, Chris Avelos, it's kind of a step down for him.
It's a step down, yeah. But, maybe they're having something around the corner they want to marinate.
Well, the truth of the matter is that, Chris Avelos earned the shot with his last win, But, everybody has a good night, and a lot of times fighters have a bad night. And I think that Chris Avelos has got his work cut out for him if he, is thinking about beating, Leo Santa Cruz. So we'll have to wait and see. Hey, listen, we're going to take a short little break here. When I come back, there's another fight I want to take a look at. A fighter that I kind of know, and I had the luxury of calling his amateur fights, and he's in a big test. We'll talk about him in about 2.
Billy C will be right back. Part of the Billy C Boxing Network.
Listen to this important message. If you owe money to the IRS, you will want to hear this. Penalties and interest compound daily on your back taxes, putting you under a mountain of debt. Tax 10,000 has years of experience connecting people with tax resolution specialists. Working through the IRS Fresh Start program, they will handle all the necessary forms, and if you qualify, you may end up saving thousands of dollars. Call Tax 10,000 at 800-773-4604.
Stop living with hair loss, that is. Losing your hair is no fun, and no one wants to be bald, but there is hope.
Getting my hair back was the best thing that ever happened to me.
I'm happy with the way I look now. I'm very excited about my hair.
I feel beautiful.
I love my hair.
Hair Club offers all proven hair loss solutions backed by our commitment to satisfaction guarantee. If you're not 100% satisfied with the solution you choose, Hair Club will apply the purchase price to another proven hair loss solution or transplant more hair at no charge.
And it was the best thing I've ever done. It looks good on me.
Call in the next 5 minutes to get your free brochure at no obligation. It will tell you everything you need to know about your hair loss problem, and it's free if you call now.
I am more pleased than what I had even imagined.
I at least look, I would say, 5 years younger.
I'm 52, and I look better now than I did when I was in my 40s.
I feel great.
And that's not all. The first 100 people who call will also receive $250 off any hair loss solution from Hair Club. Call now.
Broken air conditioning, $4,400. Failing refrigerator, $2,500. Don't let outrageous repair and replacement bills like these bust your budget. Get the First American Home Warranty Plan. And when a covered appliance or system breaks, we'll repair it or replace it for you.
We had a high-end dishwasher go kaput. They put it in a brand new dishwasher.
We have plans that cover air conditioning, most appliances, plus heating, plumbing, electrical systems, and much more. Plans start as low as $25 a month. Why let a major appliance or system breakdown bust your budget or go through the hassle of finding trustworthy service people? Last year alone, we saved our customers over $120 million. Don't wait until something breaks and you're stuck with a huge bill.
You save a lot of money. It's absolutely worth it.
If you don't have First American Warranty, get it.
Call 1-800-946-6234 for your free no-obligation quote.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace?
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-290-8300.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts! Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning. Now back to Billy C. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're listening and watching the Billy C Show. Glad you could be here. And, I tell you something, Sal. I love where I live right now, and right off right off the studio. I have right in my studio here, which you can't see on the camera shots, is a window, and it overlooks lawn and stuff like that. But during break, I was just happening to glance out the window, and during a live show one time, I'm sitting here spacing out, and all of a sudden I see a bear. And it was just like, and I'll tell you the truth, I heard him ask me. He was going, "Got any picnic baskets?" I was like, "Hey, what are you talking about, Yogi?" But no, during the break, I just saw a whole, I don't know what you call a flock of turkeys. I think they're a gaggle of turkeys. I don't know. And they were fighting with each other. They were all fighting out there. I think a couple of them had some boxing gloves on. The truth of the matter is the turkeys, they look like some badasses, don't they? I mean,
man, let me tell you something. I once went up for a weekend with a buddy of mine and the gals, and let me tell you, it was Wyndham? I don't know, Wyndham? It was somewhere in New York, but let me tell you, in the morning, we heard all these animals outside. It was this place in the woods, and I saw these wild turkeys that were all over. Man, let me tell you, they look like some bad birds, man. They are not only funny looking, you could even border ugly. I mean, they look like a prehistoric pterodactyl version of a. I mean, they're ugly. They're bad, and they're nasty too sometimes.
Now wait, they're bad. What? Does that mean bad meaning good?
Good?
Like that turkey.
Might be good. I don't know.
Like that turkey's bad, and that means good. Or you say, man, that turkey's bad, man. He was digging up my garbage. He was a bad turkey. Oh, okay, all right. Well, but they are ugly. And
it's a wild turkey, right, Bill?
They're
turkeys.
They're not the fat white ones that just sit around waiting to get their heads chopped off. These things fly.
Is there a liquor called wild turkey?
Not that kind of wild turkey. These turkeys, they got jobs and stuff. They work all day. They're trying, scrape them for food and stuff like that. But no. And the funny thing is the turkey population here. And by the way, you very well might have been in Wyndham. There's a place in upstate
I think it was
New York.
Wyndham, yeah. Wyndham.
That's
nice
the Catskills.
Cabin out there.
That's actually the Catskill area. But
yes,
anyway,
that's where we were.
Anyway, the turkeys, the population in New York here. Hey, talking turkeys with Billy C and Sal, Rocky, Santa Cola. The population in New York is pretty high now, and the one of the reasons is there's really nothing that gets them. They can fly, and it's not like they fly south. So don't worry, they're not going to be coming to your restaurant asking for food. But they fly into the trees to get away from anything that might try to kick their ass, or they sleep. Well, a bear isn't going to run down a turkey, and I don't even think they're going to be able to climb a tree and get one. Maybe a baby one. Here's what I think could eat a turkey that we have in New York. Mountain lion, cougar, we do have them. They could take one out. Probably a coyote or a wolf, which we have in upstate New York. They could probably take one out if they catch them. If they don't get up into the tree, like if they're too busy scraping the ground and not paying attention. But aside from that, I don't know. Like we have bald eagles that live near the Lake George, and they take out ducks, which I never knew. They come down and eat ducks and stuff. The eagles do, and osprey.
Let me tell you, eagles are pretty. You want to talk about nasty?
No, they're
eagles,
big.
Man. They're predators, and I've seen them in action down here in the South. And man, let me tell you, they are relentless. When they have an eye on something, they come in like a dive bomber, man, and boom, it's done.
Oh no, they're big, and we have another big bird.
They're huge.
We have another big bird. No, not that, not the yellow one from Sesame Street. We have another one called the osprey, which looks like
the osprey, beautiful bird.
Oh, they're huge. You should see the nest.
They got a long neck, don't they?
No, you're thinking of a herring, but the osprey build a nest, and I swear to God, Sal, it's bigger than your apartment. I mean, it's huge. They build them on top of. Phone. Anyway, let's stop with the National Geographic shit for a little.
Birds, I'll tell you, I feel like I'm learning something right now.
Hey, no, Willie's asking me if I ever saw the Peter Griffin when the cartoon. He says, "Did you ever see the Peter Griffin one where he sneaks up behind Yogi Bear and stabs him to death in front of Boo Boo?" No, but I saw the one. I love the one.
Yogi Bear.
I love the Family Guy. He's talking about Family Guy, which I love. I love the one. I don't remember that one, but I love the one where he's doing the Roadhouse. He's kicking everybody throughout the episode, and he finally gets Lucy. You know, Lucy from.
I never saw the show. I never saw the show.
You never saw Family Guy? Well, Willie, did you ever see the one where he's doing Roadhouse and he's roundhouse kicking everybody, and he gets Lucy from the Peanuts, right? And he's going, "Oh, that Lucy," you know, and he starts kicking the shit out of her, right? Out of Lucy.
That's wrong,
right?
Bill.
No, I know. Listen,
That's wrong.
and he's going every time Charlie Brown tries to kick the ball, you move the ball, and he kicks the crap out of Lucy, and finally Lucy's all beat up, and he goes, "Come on, go ahead, Charlie, kick the ball," and he makes Lucy hold the ball one time so Charlie can actually kick it. Now,
that's funny. I've never
God.
seen that. That's funny.
That was real funny. But anyway, back to
I like that.
Back to boxing.
I gotta see that.
We got to get back on track here, Sal. We're losing it here. But another fight I wanted to talk about real quick from this weekend is an interesting one in a sense. I'm not a big fan of the Charlo brothers. And one of the reasons I think, one of the reasons I know,
I think they're good fighters.
Well, here we go. Here we go again, Sal. Point and counterpoint. But let me finish my point first before you disagree with me. My point about the Charlo brothers, I don't take anything away from them. I just don't feel that they have climbed the ladder the way they should have in terms of level of opposition to get the accolades that they receive. And the other issue that I have with them is that they're big guys. I mean, by the time they're fighting, fight night, they're 2 weight classes, even 3 above what they should be. This is a guy in Jermell, not to be confused with his twin, who's Jermal, but Jermell Charlo is currently the WBC junior middleweight champion. And, he, of the two brothers, I think, he's got a couple of good wins. He's got that unanimous decision win over Gabe Rosado. I happen to love Gabe Rosado. I think Gabe Rosado is a throwback fighter. No, he doesn't have an impressive record. No, he doesn't have much skill. But this is a guy that really brings it. And, Jermell, I think, has a better, more impressive resume than his brother. I mean, he beat Demetrius Hopkins, he beat Gabe Rosado, he beat Charles Bethamy, Vanis Martirosyan he beat, which he's always a tough fighter, even though these guys were so much smaller. His last fight was John Hatley. He's ranked number 3 as a junior middleweight, 5'11", 73-inch reach. Now he steps in with the young southpaw Erickson Lubin. Now, Erickson Lubin is one of those fighters that we got to call his fight in the Florida Golden Gloves finals. He's a southpaw, giving up significant height, 5'9" and a half. So he's giving up 2 inches. But the size difference come fight night, you're going to see. It's going to look like Erickson Lubin is a featherweight fighting a heavyweight. I mean, the Charlo brothers have they balloon up. I mean, they definitely can dry out. This is a fight that I'm not happy with, and the reason why is not because Charlo doesn't pick his fights, his management does, and Lubin doesn't pick his fights, his management does. Oh, and did I mention their advisor is both the same guy? But that's besides the point. Charlo's ranked number 3 in the world by the computer. Lubin's ranked number 16. His last fight, or actually his last 3 fights, have been against decent opponents. Well, you can give him credit over Daniel Sandoval, too. So his last 4 fights, but none are the caliber of Jermell Charlo. His last fight was against Jorge Cota back in March of this year, in which he stopped him in 4 rounds in Brooklyn. I think that this is a case, Sal, that they are rushing Lubin too much. I really think that Erickson Lubin is the real deal. He's a young fighter. He's only 22 years old. I just think that this is a wrong fight for him. I'm not underestimating Lubin. I think he's got a lot of skill. Charlo is a good fighter. I don't think he's great, but the size difference come fight night is going to be so obvious that it's hard. A good big guy will beat a good smaller guy every single time. I'm not crazy about this fight. I think it's another showcase fight for the Charlo brothers, even though this is just Jermell. But if I'm Erickson Lubin's team, I don't like this fight at all. It's a huge opportunity for him. And like I always say, Sal, maybe a loss isn't going to ruin his career. This was a bad fight to say yes to.
Well, as you said, they're on two different levels of where they are presently. And we did see Erickson Lubin fight in the Golden Gloves in Florida just as little as maybe 4 years ago. And, he is a young guy. And to step in the ring, this is his calling card, his opportunity. But, when a fighter is a young man, 22, not that he isn't learning and isn't capable, but sometimes they're developing, they just haven't arrived yet. What I mean by that is emotionally and mentally you get caught up with yourself, and you have the confidence, you have the ability. You're not just taking being a yes man to what people are telling you all this. You're a full-fledged man, when you're later in your years and you have the experience to carry yourself like that. I use the term gravitas. But the bottom line is he's a good, talented young fighter. This might be a little bit more than what he bit off right now, than what he can chew. We will see. I wish him the best. I do think that Charlo brothers are good fighters. I think they come to fight and they come to win. And this might be a challenge for Erickson Lubin. Could be his step up, could be his way up, and we might be surprised because, like I always say, I'd be a hypocrite if I don't agree with that any given night. You never know. But I don't know on paper right now, black and white, if this will be Erickson Lubin's night. I don't think it's a good idea.
No, it's definitely a bad idea. The size difference, and as far as Jermel's brother Jamal, he did vacate his title. He had a title in the junior middleweight division. He moved up. I would just like to see, and in defense of Jermel, I mean, there's really nobody in that division right now that poses too much danger to him. But Jamal, I would like to see fight a real middleweight. I mean, these guys are able to dry out so much, and it just seems that they have an unfair advantage. I don't know, but it is what it is.
Well, it is what it is, and I just want to reiterate and say, you know what, we saw another great budding amateur that evening that was handed his first defeat, a devastating knockout. Was that Sammy? What was his last name? Rui? Sammy?
Sammy. You mean Sammy?
Yeah.
He Hurricane Sammy.
Hurricane Sammy. Yeah, we saw him fight recently. He just stepped up into another level, and I think a little bit before his time, they were giving him an opportunity, and he suffered a devastating knockout early in the fight. So this is the same. We saw the same show, the same fighters fight that night, and we'll see what happens to this young man. We'll see if Lubin can handle it.
Yeah, Hurricane Sammy was definitely in over his head, and Erickson Lubin, and those two guys came up in the ranks together. They worked out of the same gym.
Yeah, we saw them fight in the Golden Gloves, winning.
They came out of the same gym, and I think Lubin, he was a pro a little longer. Hurricane Sammy, his last name is Valentin, in case you guys are wondering.
That's
Hurricane
right.
Sammy Valentin. He was moved too quickly. They were too. You know what? They were conned. Listen, I love I love Hurricane Sammy.
We sat down with them. I mean, you guys were talking about managing and everything else. We gave him the inside scoop of the boxing world in a preview. You and John, I know that.
His mom is great. His pops is a great guy. And the thing is they had dollar signs in their eyes, and people
signing contract bonuses like they just won a gold medal in Olympics and they wanted to see the money.
Well, the truth of the matter is they were conned, and they built up Sammy to get him, an opportunity to get a payday. They were all happy because he's basically, footing the bill now. But, it was too soon. You got to make the right decision. But anyway, one other fight I want to talk about today is another one that, I'm not so sure about the outcome. Jared Hurd is currently the IBF World Junior Middleweight champion. He's ranked number 5 by the computer, 6'1", Orthodox fighter out of Maryland. He's 20-0 with 14 knockouts. He beat Tony Harrison for the vacant IBF World Junior Middleweight title in his last fight, which was in February. He's had some tough opponents, but nobody special. I mean, Jojo Dan he beat, which I give him a lot of credit for. Tony Harrison was a good fighter at one point. I don't know how good he is now. Frank Galarza was a decent fighter, but that's it out of his 20 wins. He takes on a former world champion and a guy that a lot of people, I look at him similar to Lamont Peterson, who for some reason people don't give Lamont Peterson credit, and they don't seem to give Austin Trout much credit either. Austin Trout is a New Mexican fighter from Las Cruz that, has fought some tough fights and, lost his title. When Urslandi Lara, he lost his title to Canelo Alvarez originally, and he had beaten Miguel Cotto, so Alvarez beat him for his title. He got another shot at a title against Urslandi Lara, and then he's quietly rattled off 4 wins: Daniel Dawson, Luis Grajada, Luis Galarza, like I mentioned, Joey Twinkle Fingers Hernandez, which is the stupidest nickname.
Twinkle Fingers, oh my God! I wouldn't be walking around with Twinkle Fingers.
Listen, I could see that being a good name if you were a lesbian, but
easy. Or Joey. No, I was gonna go as far as saying if you were a magician.
All right, well, I used a lesbian reference, but nothing. I'm not. Wait, time out. I'm not saying anything against lesbians. I'm just saying that. That would be a good nickname for a lesbian. Twinkle Fingers. They would like that. But Joey Hernandez, maybe not so much. What's the matter, Sal? But
I'm gonna crawl under the table.
That's not good. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean anything negative. I'm just saying, But he fought Jamal Charlo in his last fight in May of last year. So he hasn't fought in over a year. Lost a 12-round decision against Jamal Charlo when Jamal had the junior middleweight title. I think that this is going to be a really tough fight for Jared Hurd. He does have 14 knockouts of his 20 wins. But depending upon the condition that, Austin Trout comes in, I mean, he is giving up some height, substantial height. Austin Trout's 5'9.5", and Jared Hurd is tall at 6'1". I think it's going to boil down to if Austin Trout has the ability to work the body and get in on Hurd. The other thing about it is he's a southpaw, and they always give trouble to orthodox fighters. What's your quick thoughts on the fight?
I think they should have named him Twinkle Toes.
Well, listen, Fred Flintstone. That was only Twinkle Toes Flintstone when he used to bowl. But what do you think about the fight? What do you think about the fight?
I think it's a good fight. I think it's a good fight. We'll see what happens, and I want to be able to catch that fight. And I do not have enough information to really make a prediction here, but I'm looking forward to it, and I will definitely watch that fight.
Well, I hope so, because we're gonna want you to talk about it on Monday. So I hope that
I'm
you
still on
watch
the Twinkle Toes. I'm still on Twinkle Fingers. I don't know where I am. Well, you threw me at that.
With the Twinkle Fingers? I've said that before. I listen. I'm not trying to.
I'm just teasing, Bill. Go on. I'm too easy.
No, I know. But anyway, so we got a couple of good fights.
Yes, we do.
Scheduled for tomorrow. And I'm looking forward to tomorrow. We'll talk more about, or actually looking forward to on Saturday. But tomorrow we'll talk more about the fights. I'll give you my official breakdowns and predictions on all the fights. I really like the George Groves Jamie Cox fight, only because I'm interested in seeing George Groves move ahead. So he has to face Chris Eubank Jr. That's another big fight. And Terrell Joshua was an Olympian who, in my opinion, hasn't really proved himself. Like Errol Spence Jr. was Olympian that has proved himself big time.
Big time.
Terrell Joshua in the junior middleweight division, not so much. And he's in there tough Saturday night with Urslandi Lara. So there's some good matchups. I mean, Groves against Cox, and then you got Leo Santa Cruz against Avelos. The only reason why I say that's a good matchup is because Chris Avelos earned the shot. I don't think Leo Santa Cruz is going to have much trouble with him, but Chris Avelos earned that shot. Abner Mares against Andres Gutierrez. That's a big fight, and they're the ones fighting for the regular world title for the featherweight. So hopefully that would mean a showdown between the winner and Leo Santa Cruz. If you recall, Abner Mares and Leo Santa Cruz had that very painful fight in which Abner Mares was hitting, both of them were hitting below the belt a lot, but hopefully they'll get a rematch there. So you got that fight. You got Lara Gashua, Charlo Lubin, and Trout. So some big fights scheduled for this weekend.
Great fight pack weekend, man.
And the beauty of that is that the main fights are on Fox and Showtime. So I don't know if we're going to be getting the George Groves Jamie Cox fight here in the States. I hope a network picks it up at the last minute. I'm really surprised that the U.S. television networks haven't picked up the WBS as much as I thought that they would. The WBSS as much as I thought they would, Sal.
Well, I mean, that's a great question because the WBS has some great fights to tell the broadcast, and we could tap into that easily. But again, maybe they're waiting for the real big names or showcase or something. I don't know, but I think they should tap into that, and I think it'll create some more interest for fight fans here to start following fight fans across the pond.
Well, I don't know if it was an issue of who was involved or whatever. If Richard Schaefer burned some bridges, or if it's the power of Oscar De La Hoya's Golden Boy preventing him, or I don't really know the reason. But when you look at the World Boxing Super Series, I mean the quality of the fights from top to bottom, from both divisions, the cruiserweight and the super middleweight, are superb. And I'm shocked that, the networks didn't pick it up. You see, this goes to show you what I say all the time. The network, the execs, the suits, if you will, that are making the decisions of what fights to put on aren't boxing fans. They don't know. They look at a record and they say, oh, this guy's good. He's undefeated. Listen, I think that the Showtimes and the HBOs made a huge mistake by not jumping into bed with Richard Schaefer for this broadcasting of the WBSS. Now, as we move, on, maybe they will. But if I were them, I would have tried to get the package deal for all the fights and pay less money. Because now, as everybody's loving it, I mean, we've seen 2 potential knockout of the year punches in the WBSS so far. I don't know. I think the networks here in the States really blundered on not picking that up, Sal.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there, and I think that we're missing domestically some real great fights and opportunities to showcase, like I said, what's going on across the pond, and obviously that not many American fighters were willing to put their records on the line or whatever their status was in the rankings to be a part of. It shows you clearly, like you were saying and suggesting, the Europeans, they of course they care, but they're relentless. They don't mind who they're put in the ring against because they just want to show that they're the best. And when you have the best fighting the best and claiming to be the best, you're going to get the fights that are the best. There's a lot of bestesses.
You got a lot of bestesses in there, huh? You do. There's a lot of bestesses in there. I thought
that. Wait, is that the WB best or WB?
I don't know.
WBA best.
That's I don't know, but always be your best. Always try your hardest and your best. Hey, listen. Tomorrow on tomorrow's show, we are going to open up the phone lines for everyone from the start of the show on. Now, unfortunately, what that means is when we pull a call in I know that we have to kick Sal to the curb unless we don't get your camera feed. That's something we could discuss.
I could forfeit the camera to hear the call if you'd like. I mean, I don't have to look at myself all day.
No, I know, but it is nice to see that, you know. But
but when I'm not on, I mean, like, look at it this way: if you kick me to the curb, I'm not on. But if you shut off my camera, at least I'm on, but I'm not on. I'm on listening. Maybe I'll let you do it. You're the technical guy. You figured all this out. I'm just the guy that's on.
Yeah, well, everybody else can be on, and we're going to kick Sal to the curb tomorrow while you're on. So keep in mind, our phone line will be open tomorrow. But before we go, we're back doing the trivia questions because we have a bunch of Title Bout Championship computer games to give away. And yesterday's question was I thought was going to be a lot harder, but because our fan base are so smart and up to date on the sport of boxing, we have a winner. The question yesterday was, what boxer had a famous comic strip character named after him? Which boxer had a famous comic strip character named after him? And I had a bunch of answers that were incorrect, and Coach came up with an answer that I'm curious. I emailed him and asked, okay, tell me why this guy. I didn't know. Maybe he knew of a comic strip about the guy he told me. So I'm curious to know. But cut to the chase. Adam Lane, my man Adam Lane, knew that the answer was Jim Jeffries, Sal. Because
are you kidding me? I was going to go for Jack Dempsey.
The cartoon, and I'm talking about comic strip cartoon, yes. Comic strip of Mutton Jeff. The character Jeff was actually named after Jim Jeffries. So congratulations to Adam Lane. We sent him his very own copy of the Title Bout Championship computer game. So we got another question today. So we're going to go with this one today. I want to thank Henry Hascop for sending me these. This guy,
he's the best. I'll tell you,
he knows some good ones, and he sent me this one. Now this is a hard one. If somebody gets this one right today, I'm going to be impressed. And because let's make no mistake. If somebody came up to me at the boxing event and asked me any of these questions, I'd be like, huh? What? What are you talking about? But here's the question. Which boxer was a longtime sparring partner for one heavyweight champion, knocked him down in sparring, and then had a victory over another one-time heavyweight champion? So which boxer was a longtime sparring partner for a heavyweight champion, and I'll give you a hint, it was a very well-known heavyweight champion, knocked him down in sparring, and then had a victory over another one-time heavyweight champ? You're the first one to correct at Talkin' Boxing. That's TalkinBoxing.com. You'll win a copy of the Title Bout Championship computer game. Now, I know this is a hard one, but I figured you guys are at that point. I'll read it one more time. Then, Sal, I'll give you a chance to answer it.
Thank you.
Which boxer was a longtime sparring partner for one heavyweight champ? And my hint there is this was a very well-known heavyweight champion. Knocked him down in sparring, and then had a victory over another one-time heavyweight champ. And I'll give you a hint on that guy, too. That guy was also known for being successful in other weight divisions. Man, I'm giving a lot away. Do you have an answer, Sal?
Well, I do. I was going to give you my canned answer, Jack Dempsey, but now you have me thinking Larry Holmes.
Nah, you're wrong on both of them. So
good luck, Jack Dempsey.
Good luck to everybody on that. Which boxer was a longtime sparring partner for one heavyweight champ, knocked him down in sparring, then had a victory over another one-time heavyweight champion? If you're the first one to email me the correct answer at Billy@TalkinBoxing, TalkinBoxing.com, you'll win your copy of the Title Bout Championship computer game. Hey, man, that concludes our show for today. I want you to make sure you tune in tomorrow morning. Same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, I'll leave you with this. Ciao, baby.